Did you know there's a country where marrying a piece of fruit is considered normal? In Nepal, some girls tie the knot with a bell fruit before their actual wedding. But why? This bizarre custom is just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to reveal 10 mind-bending traditions that will make you question everything you thought you knew about Nepal. Are you ready to see beyond the tourist brochures? Picture a country where cows stroll freely through bustling streets, treated like royalty. Now, imagine that same nation banishing women to crude huts during their menstrual cycles. This stark contrast is the reality in Nepal, where ancient traditions clash with modern sensibilities in the most unexpected ways. In Nepal, cows aren't just farm animals, they're sacred beings. Considered the earthly embodiment of Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of wealth and prosperity, these bovine creatures enjoy a level of protection most humans can only dream of. It's not uncommon to see traffic grinding to a halt as a cow leisurely crosses a busy intersection. Harming these animals isn't just frowned upon, it's illegal. Nepal's laws protect cows from slaughter, with offenders facing up to 12 years in prison for cow-related crimes. But while cows roam free, many Nepali women face a very different fate during their periods. The practice of chowpade banishes menstruating women to rudimentary huts or sheds, often far from their homes. These structures, typically made of mud or wood, offer little protection from the elements or wild animals. Women relegated to these huts face serious health risks, including pneumonia, dehydration, and even snake bites. Despite being officially banned in 2005, this dangerous tradition persists in many rural areas. How can a society that reveres animals so highly subject its women to such perilous conditions? The answer lies deep within Nepal's complex tapestry of religious and cultural beliefs. Both practices stem from interpretations of Hindu teachings, but their impacts couldn't be more different. The cow's elevated status brings reverence and protection, while misguided notions about menstrual impurity lead to isolation and danger for women. This juxtaposition of sacred and sacrifice is just the beginning of Nepal's fascinating cultural paradoxes. As we delve deeper into the country's traditions, we'll uncover even more surprising customs that shape daily life in this Himalayan nation. From fruit marriages to sky caves, Nepal's unique practices continue to challenge our understanding of culture and tradition. You've heard of child brides, but what about fruit brides? In Nepal, some girls tie the knot with a piece of fruit before they've even hit puberty. But don't call Child Protective Services just yet. This unusual custom might actually be protecting these young women. Let's peel back the layers of this puzzling tradition. Welcome to the world of Bel Vivaha, a Newari tradition where young girls, usually around 9 years old, marry a fruit called bel. This isn't just some quick ceremony, it's a 2-day affair that starts with purification rituals and ends with the girl's father offering her virginity to Shiva, the god represented by the fruit. But why would parents want their daughter to marry produce? It turns out this fruit wedding is just the first step in a unique 3-marriage system. After the bel fruit, Newari women marry the son, and only then do they tie the knot with a human husband. This might sound bizarre, but there's a method to this fruity madness. The Bel Vivaha ceremony acts as a cultural shield, protecting girls from early marriage to humans. It gives them a chance to grow up, get an education, and enjoy some independence before settling down with a flesh and blood spouse. Plus, it's believed to empower women by preserving their honor and social status, even if they later divorce or become widows. Now, let's shift our gaze from fruit weddings to the sky. Nepal's landscape is dotted with mysterious caves carved high into towering cliffs. These aren't your average rocky hideouts. They're treasure troves of history and culture. Archaeologists have uncovered ancient artifacts, religious manuscripts, and stunning wall paintings in these lofty caverns. These sky caves, particularly in the Mustang region, offer a window into Nepal's past. They've revealed secrets about the lives of ancient inhabitants, suggesting these elevated chambers were used for meditation and as refugees during tumultuous times. Each discovery challenges historians and archaeologists to piece together the puzzle of Nepal's rich cultural heritage. What connects fruit marriages and sky caves? Both highlight Nepal's deep reverence for nature and its integration into spiritual and social life. From marrying fruits to carving homes in cliffs, Nepali traditions weave the natural world into the very fabric of society, influencing everything from women's roles to architectural marvels. From sky-high caves to fruit marriages, Nepal's unique customs have already surprised us. But what if I told you that Nepal exists in a different time altogether? Not just figuratively, but quite literally. Welcome to a country where time doesn't just flow differently, it's on an entirely different plane. In Nepal, the calendar tells a different story than the rest of of the world. While we're living in 2024, Nepalis are already in 2080. This isn't a futuristic society, it's simply the result of Nepal's distinct calendar system. Known as Bikram Sambat, this lunar calendar is approximately 56 years and 8 months ahead of the Gregorian calendar used by most of the world. But the temporal quirks don't stop there. Nepal's clock is ticking to its own rhythm too. The country operates on a time zone that's 15 minutes ahead of its neighbor India and 5 hours and 45 minutes ahead of GMT. This means that when it's noon in London, it's 5:45 p.m. in Kathmandu. These temporal differences aren't just curiosities, they have real impacts on daily life and international relations. Imagine coordinating business calls with overseas partners or scheduling flights when your entire concept of time is shifted. Nepalis often need to juggle multiple calendars and time zones, especially when dealing with the international community. Despite these challenges, Nepal's unique temporal identity offers some benefits. It sets the country apart, reinforcing its cultural uniqueness and national pride. The Bikram Sambat calendar is deeply intertwined with Nepal's festivals and traditions, helping to preserve important cultural practices. But how does a country balance this temporal tradition with the demands of globalization? Nepal faces the ongoing challenge of maintaining its cultural identity while participating in the global economy. Many businesses and government offices use both the Bikram Sambat and Gregorian calendars, creating a sort of temporal bilingualism. These temporal quirks reflect Nepal's broader desire for cultural preservation in the face of modernization. Just as the country holds on to its unique calendar and time zone, it also strives to maintain other aspects of its rich heritage. Nepal's unique temporal landscape isn't the only aspect of the country caught between tradition and modernity. Some customs, deeply rooted in cultural beliefs, cast a dark shadow over the nation's progress. Imagine being exiled from your home, forced to live in isolation simply because of a natural bodily function. For many Nepali women, this nightmare is a monthly reality. Despite Nepal's strides in education and technology, harmful practices like chaupadi persist in rural areas. This tradition banishes menstruating women to crude huts, exposing them to serious health risks including pneumonia, dehydration, and even snake bites. The contrast is stark. While Nepal embraces modern advancements, these dangerous customs threaten the lives of its citizens. The Nepalese government officially banned chaupadi in 2005, but enforcement remains weak. Many women still face immense societal pressure to adhere to this tradition. In some cases, those who defy it face punishment from their communities, highlighting the challenges of changing deeply ingrained beliefs. Education and activism play crucial roles in challenging these harmful customs. Organizations including the Nepalese government and various NGOs are working tirelessly to raise awareness about the dangers of chaupadi. They're engaging communities, partnering with local leaders, and launching campaigns to promote women's rights. These efforts aim to shift attitudes and break the cycle of tradition-induced suffering. Personal stories from women who have experienced chaupadi underscore the urgent need for change. Many recount feelings of isolation, fear, and vulnerability during their time in the huts. These narratives provide powerful testimony to the emotional and physical toll of the practice, inspiring others to speak out against it. Encouragingly, there have been successful cases where communities have abandoned harmful traditions like chaupadi. Often these changes are driven by education and the influence of younger generations questioning outdated practices. In some areas, women have begun to challenge the status quo, leading to gradual shifts in societal attitudes. As Nepal navigates its path forward, the tension between tradition and modernity remains palpable. Many individuals find themselves caught between respecting their cultural heritage and embracing progressive changes that prioritize health and human rights. This struggle reflects a broader cultural evolution, where younger generations increasingly challenge outdated customs while seeking to preserve valuable aspects of their identity. The gradual shifts occurring in Nepal highlight the complex reality of cultural change. As the country seeks to balance its rich traditions with the demands of the modern world, it faces the delicate task of preserving its unique identity while ensuring the safety and rights of all its citizens.